Do everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, today I have a small topic to share. Yes. The firstly, if everyone know about this, just please have to join or comment letter. Yes. Okay, my topic today, yes, I going to talk about the virtualization and the containerization technology. Yes, may some of you know about it. Yes, about the architecture. Yes, and we're going to the talk on the next slide. Yeah, that is just the when you look at the image, you will know about how it works and how it's a structure. Yes, for the containerization and the virtualization. Yes. Let me move to next slide. I had a less agenda here to talk. Firstly, we're going to talk about the definition of the technology, both virtualization and containerization. And second, we're going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of the virtualization and the containerization. And the final, we will have the question answer, or we will, if you have the comment, yes. Let me move to the next. Sorry. Here is the definition for the virtualization and the containerization. Yes. The both technology is the popular now. Yes. It used for the machine to the host the application on the computer system. And for the both technology is the also play us the crucial role, and even those they are the popular, it also had the advantages and disadvantages when we use this technology. For the virtualization, it uses the notion of the virtual machine as the fundamental unit, and for the containerization, it use the concept of the container. Yes. In short, for the virtualization, it's involve for the virtualization, it involves you to run the multiple operating system on the single physical server. For example, as you already know, it's the virtual machine that's called the VM. And for the containerization, it involves you to run the enable you to deploy the multiple application using the same operating system on the single VM or the virtual machine. Yes, like the Docker something. And for the virtualization, as you already know, it can be running. Yeah, when we have the hypervisors, it running on the hypervisor. Yes. And if we talk about the hypervisors, they have the two classifications of the hypervisor. That is we can call is the flexibility to create the VM or the VM managers. The first type is the native or bare metal hypervisor, and the second we call the hosted hypervisor. For the bare metal or native hypervisor, it means that we install its operating system directly on the hardware. For example, is the Oracle VM, Microsoft Hyper-V, VMware, ESI server and the Systric Sen server something. Yes. And for the hosted hypervisor, it is the kind of the software which is the running on the cache OS. It can be the software layer. It is the software layers. For example, it is the VMware VirtualBox, VMware Workstation, and Microsoft Virtual PC. Yes. And for the type 1 of hypervisor, the mostly we are using for the enterprise infrastructures, and for the hosted hypervisor, we are using for the personally. Yes, mostly. Yes. Okay. And we will move to the next slide. Both technology, we have the advantages. Yeah, I think there are more than like this, but I list the few about those of the the virtualization and containerization benefit. For the virtualization, you already know it's the when we use this technology, we want to save the cost. We want to reduce the expense. Yes, because if we don't use the virtual machine, yes, if we want to launch a multiple application, we need to buy the physical server for the every application to launch. But when we use the virtual machine, we can buy the minimum of the hardware, which is the has the big space for the handle for your requirement. Yes. And the second is the essentially, yes, as you already know, for the VM, it's easy to manage. Yes, it's when we want to make the backup, we want to clone, we want to migrate something. Yeah, it's easy. Yes, we want to migrate from one host to another host. Yes, and it's also had the security. Yes, for the for the VM, we can make the security by the another way, like we make the IPOE typo rules and see to filter access. Yes. And for the fourth is the increase the efficiency is for the virtual machine environment, it's the much easier to maintain than physical server environment. Yes, we we can it's then rather than managing numbers of physical server require individual 10 for the virtual machine in about us get to the configure or monitoring or update or VM on the single server. Yes, it can save the time. Yes. And number 5 is the ECD op. For the virtualization environment that is the developers friendly, is the effectively to segment for the production, yes, and development environment without extra the hardware. Yes, it means that when we have the new application, we no need to buy the hardware server physical server to run the application. We just use the existing for the physical server for create the VM and run your application. Yes. And the last is the environmentally friendly IT. Yes. As you already know, if we less use the when we use the VM, we will reducing the hardware requirement. Yes, when we reuse the hardware requirement. Also, we reduce the power consumption also. So that is the kind of we can sell for the cost, and we can make that for we can take the sum of that our work cost to develop or improve or making the our business even more totally friendly. Yes. And for the containerization, yes, it is the firstly is the portability. It's it is the really the good because the container is the lightweight when it we just the right ones and we can deploy anywhere. Yes, for example, for the Docker technology, we just write the code one and then we can take this code to run anywhere we want that the support with the our container tool. Yes. For the second is the agility. Yes. Containerization is the crucial tool for the streaming for the DevOps. Yes, is the we can avoid the challenge for the DevOps challenge. It means that if you are the developer, you are working in team. Yes, in the one project. But if we don't use the Docker technology, it means we 100% sure we are will different the environment from the because we are using the different computer, so the environment I sure it will different. Yes, so if we use that different technology, sometime when we are test the application, we will have the some problem. Yes, sometimes it work on the your member, but when you test on your environment, it had some issue. Yes, when we use the Docker technology, it is the surely it is the same environment. We just write the code for create the container with the with your the project requirement, and then all your member run this code and create the container. It will be the same. Yes, environment. So it helpful to avoid divorce during the working, yes, on your project. Yes, and it the faster delivery. We already know the container is lightweight, so when the uptime is really fast, then we are using the VM or the physical server because the container is not the because the container doesn't rely on a hypervisor or virtualized operating system. Yes, and the fourth is the had the security. Yes, for the container, yes, we can make the security. Yes, or on the container we have the a repository and they make the security already make the security also. And also when we use the Docker, also the application the faster startup also it compared to on the method of visualization such as the VM container is the extremely the lightweight, the one of many benefit. Yes, being the lightweight rapidly. Yes, for the startup time. And okay, for the disadvantage, it should be have the more than like this, but I list down what I can understand about it. So I think maybe our member here will have the or some comment about the disadvantages, but I list down what I understand about it. For the visualization disadvantages related to performance problem also, if we have the single server and we deploy a multiple the VM, yes, and it will be affect the problem. It's if we put the overload the VM on the single on the server, it will have some problem. So to be avoid this, we need to scale the how much how big our the infrastructure and how we scale for the physical server should the how many VM and on each VM how many resource that we use. So when we can scale that, so we can avoid if we don't scale we just put and the the performance it will have the problem also. Second, it can be had a high cost of the implementation also. In this case, if we use the the server and multiple VM, so we need the physical server with the high space. If a component or equipment is we need to high, so the cost also the high when and it can create creates the risk. It also have the risk also because we are running on the the physical server with the multiple VM. On the VM we had each the application when we had some issue like the crash with the hardware or the physical server OS had a problem. So if the physical server down, it will make our virtual machine down, then our application that will down also. So in this case, we can avoid it by make the redundancy, or we can make the monitoring on the server health to check with the physical server. Yes, the sometime it will alert with the warning or the some critical. Yes, we can resolve as soon as yes. And for the containerization, it also with the security risk also. For example, for the Docker, mostly if we are configured by default, yes, it will have some issue with the attacking from the somebody else, because if we don't filter or we don't change something related to the security, and we are just install from the repository and using the default one, so another person they know that is the default, they can take the attach the container and do the some destroy or something like this. So in this case we have to prevent we are the deploy the container on the VM or the virtual machine. We had to make the security by filtering access, yes, allow access, and disable something the remotely is to filter if the out your network. We didn't allow to remote your container. Yes. And for the performance problem also, yes, if for the Docker, it should be, I am not sure, but maybe it should not the problem. But for another container like the LSD, it is the Linux container. Yes, if we deploy the more container to the single VM or physical server, yes, it's the will have some issue related to problem. Oh, sorry, we related to performance. Yes, they are. So in this case, we also need to scale our the how much our the host can handle. Yes. So my presentation is finished, and if we had a question or the comment, yes, please feel free, yes, to just join our here. Yes.
Thank you. And I have one question.
Yes, please.
Regarding the container advantage and disadvantage, I see that in the advantage, there's improved security, and the disadvantage, security risk. It's like advantage and disadvantage has something against each other.
Yes, it has the security for the advantage, and for the security risk also have. It mean that for the example for the our Docker container, it has the security, but if we use the default one, yes, for example, Docker, if you are use the default one with the we don't filter access, as we had some experience. Yes, we deploy it to the global. Yes, and we allow some special port, and for the actually it running on the host, and on the host we didn't the filter access. This means that so when someone attached to our they can, yes, when someone can remote our to our the container, or they can access to our host. So in with the full access, yes, they can make some destroy. Yes, for the some with the public, for the container, we had the public the repository, and if we take careless about that repository, it will some repository we had some with the malicious something inside. Yes, when we are take it and deploy, yes, it will have some resources. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Or anyone has some comment about it?
Samnang, I have one question. Do you know any difference between Docker container and LXD container or Linux container?
Actually, between the Docker container and the LSD containers, yes, the both is the lightweight. But if we compare the level or the lightweight, the Docker is the more lightweight than the LSD container. And the boot is the running on the Docker runtime the same, but for the Docker LSD, it running on the kernel space. Yes, and it create with the container, and we can install the operating system on the LSD, and yes, it's when we create the Docker, when we create the LSD container, we can install the Ubuntu, for the Linux distro on that LSD. Yes. Maybe. Yes. Sorry. The mostly it's the for the Docker container and the LSD container. Yes, the different is related to the language. It's a bit different. It's almost the same, but for the LSD is the less than like lightweight than the Docker container. Yes. And it's like that.
Yes, I see the LHD container is only available on Linux, right? While Docker container, we support more operating system.
Yes, about the like that also. Yes, mostly LSD it is the Linux container. Yes, as you already said. Yes, and it support for the Linux distro. Yes, in Docker container it support with the any operating system, as you said. Yes, like Windows, something. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Just one comment from me. I think the difference between LHD container and Docker container. If we talk about the LHD, we think about the container that have the structure like a VM. But if we talk about the Docker, we think about the container that we just take some service. We just take some service from Docker image and then we build. We use that image to run the container. Like we just take some service, but not all from the guest OS. So that is the difference. But they are container. It's not the VM. Just the difference between the system structure of the LHD is similar to VM and the Docker is different from LHD. That's what I understand.
Yes, thank you for your comments.
Yes, and one more comment from me. Yes, yeah, Docker and LXD both support the container, but especially Docker is for Docker focuses on process. Just the process can be just one process or can be sometimes more processes, but not many processes. So Docker container is to run specific process, PHP, FPM, Nginx, Apache, MySQL, but the LXD container support almost the same as virtual machine guest OS. but the kernel feature is shared one from host OS. So at first, anyway, Docker is to run process, and it supports multiple operating system, Windows or Linux, Mac, and LXD. Yeah, as Samnang said, it's supported only by Linux operating system, and it can run Linux container. And if I can add one more thing, LXD also support virtual machine. We can run virtual machine in LXD, so LXD also have a role of hypervisor. Maybe, yeah, I know that's what I know.
Yes, I see one more point. I think LHD we can save we can edit system, but in container we cannot. Like if we need to save data on container, we need to mount with the volume with the host operating system. Maybe right.
Oh yes, good. And that's all for me.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
And to use LXD container, I think we should need the exact OS, right? Not like Docker. Docker just a software, but about LXD container, if we want to containerize our application, so we should need the Linux, right? Is that correct?
Yes, actually it is the Linux container. So okay, yes, we need to install the container runtime. Container, it's the container engine for the LSD is the LSD. So it's a support it with the Ubuntu. Sorry, Linux distro. Yes.
I think container engine of LHD it's come up with the Ubuntu. It's already have in Ubuntu. When we set up Ubuntu, we already have LHD engine. And the Docker, we might need to install the Docker runtime on our VM or physical.
Lastly, it should be install the engine, the LSD. As I remember, but it kind of long time ago. Yes, to deploy when I deploy, I need to install the LSD container. The firstly, I need to install its engine is the LSD engine on the Docker, sorry, on the Ubuntu. Then I can create the container. Yes.
Oh, okay.
I think it's not come by default. Yes.
Okay, maybe I'm confusing. Maybe we need to install LHD.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay, do we have any more comment or question?
No comment, no question from me.
Okay, okay, everyone. Okay, if we have no more comment or question, so we can finish our technical presentation. And thank you so much to Samnang. Can we access the slide?
Yes, so I will upload to our share drive. Yes, and thank you so much for everyone. Yeah, for joining my presentation today. Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I did say about we cannot record the video, but our video is recording. Okay, so okay, have a nice day, everyone.
Oh,
Okay,
yes, thank
yeah,
you.
okay,
Bye.
yes, bye bye.
We can.
Bye.
Bye-bye.